Yeah, so today is another episode of the Mechanism Mindset podcast. What?
21.
This is 21. Yeah, so we've had 21 of these come out every single Monday morning at 5 a.m. for the past 21 weeks. And we'll start working on getting some more and more content, more and more guests, stuff like that coming soon in the future. As you know, we film these Sunday morning. It's like 5:30 a.m. right now. And we do these completely off the cuff. We come up with a topic and then we speak on that topic. We would love to have anybody in the conversation with us, any comments you might have, anything like that. And today, it's just like a series of things have kind of been occurring with different people over the last couple weeks. And it made me really think about the power of choosing who you associate with, choosing who you allow into your world. Jealously defend the gates as the gatekeeper of the social group that you surround yourself with. If people are negative on you and just encourage you to make bad decisions consistently that you regret, you might need to really reconsider who it is that you're around, or who it is you're allowing to be around. Because just because somebody wants to come over and hang out with you and be buddies with you and drink beer with you doesn't necessarily make them a good friend. Just because somebody will show up and help you work on your truck or something when it breaks down doesn't necessarily mean they're a good friend. There's the elements of people that don't necessarily have your best interests at heart. Are you around people that build you up? Are you around people that want you to succeed massively? Are you around people that are already successful massively and will help you succeed massively? Those are the people that you really, really want to be around. Ultimately, what is your goal in life? Is your goal to be a Walmart greeter? Always use this as a guidepost here. Is your goal in life to be a Walmart greeter? Or do you want to have some kind of level of wealth that you can leave something to your kids when you pass away? Or do you look at the people that you're around? Do they look like people that are probably most likely going to be Walmart greeters? Do they have a retirement plan? How old are they? Are they doing anything more than just suffering through the week and being excited that it's Friday or Saturday and then suffering through the week again? If that's what they are, if that's what the people that are around you are, that's ultimately what you're going to be. Jealously defending the gates of the people that you surround yourself with is crucial. And I'm looking at it right now from a perspective of who do I let into my life. I'm not necessarily going on a mass purge to get rid of people. I am relatively secluded. It's mostly me and my wife, and Zach and I only see each other at Mechanism Mindset meetings and then these podcasts. Mm-hmm. But what is it that you want to be? What is it that you want to do with your life? And that's really the ultimate question. That would be your guidepost, your guidelines for who it is that you let into your life, who it is that you want to be around. Are you guys starting from the bottom and building towards something, mutually building towards something? That's a fantastic place to be. You're not necessarily the student of each other, but just student of your environment, actively pursuing a goal. That's great. It's not the fastest way to move, because we're even dealing with this same scenario with the mechanism mindset aspect, because we don't know what the fuck we're doing. We have nobody to base what we're doing off of. We're probably, 150 hours or something, 150 hours probably into web development right now.
If not more.
And it put it in real perspective this morning when I looked up like an Uber-like app, and it was saying like each feature in the Uber app could easily take 100 hours of development time. So where I'm thinking we're behind, I think we're actually probably ahead. Our timelines are we just don't have anybody yet to base any real critical decision making off of. But that's okay. We're actively pursuing that. But if you're around people, let's say you're overweight and you're around people that reinforce the fact that you are going to be overweight the rest of your life and treat you like shit. Is that somebody you really want to keep in your life? You know what I mean? Is that somebody that you should probably that's a good purge. That's a good purge element right there. Get rid of them. Yeah, I know it's easier said than done, but as you start thinking in one direction, the tasks become easier and easier and easier. And this goes with everything, including who you remove from your life and who you add to your life. Right now, I'm in a freaky state because I'm always a student, which is fantastic. I went from always being the teacher for decades to now I'm the student in just about every freaking room that I step into with people that are really successful in the industry that I'm in, the real estate industry. Fire hose education after fire hose education after fire hose education, and I'm only grabbing 5% of the content each individual time I get blasted with a whole ton of information. That's not necessarily true. I'm just trying to minimize that, my intake on that as much as possible. Sometimes I understand everything that's told to me, but then you got to apply. What do you think? What do you think about this, Zach?
I mean, it's kind of interesting. Like, it kind of brings me back to like almost the high school days, like all the friends that you had in high school and everything. And I had a conversation with my dad once, and he's like, because I was that person that would help you fix your car. I'd show up no matter what. I love helping people. It's what I do. I help people I try and help everyone succeed at their goals, and I think that's why we get along so well. And he told me one day, he's like, I don't know why you put so much emphasis on your friends, because all these people are going to leave you. They're going to leave your life, And I told him in that moment, I was like, you're right. Most of these people probably will move on. I said, except for one person. And that one person is still my best friend, which is Nico. And ironically, he's very successful. He has got an awesome job. I don't need to disclose where he works or anything. I don't know if he wants me to, so I won't. But he does very well for himself. And those are, I knew, I helped a lot of people, but I knew the one relationship that I wanted to keep. Even at that moment, even in high school, even like I knew the people who were actually my friends. Even though I had a lot of friends and I had a lot of people around me, I knew the one that actually wanted to see me succeed as well. And we've always had that relationship. We'll help each other out. Yeah, I mean, even he, working where he works now, he got really good at Excel. And he's going to help me build spreadsheets and everything for my financials. He has this I want to say 30-page spreadsheet that tracks every single piece of his financial, his investments, what he brings in, what he's spending on food, gas, everything. I mean, it's pretty massive, but once he's built it all calculates. You just put in a few numbers and calculates all the way down the line, which is awesome. But I think it's actually good that those people have moved out of my life. I'm similar to you. I'm kind of secluded. I have you, I have Nico, I have my buddy Jared. Other than that, everyone's kind of more acquaintances, network. I kind of think it's less friendships as you get older and more networking. And I was having a conversation with a guy yesterday who, it may not apply to your job depending on how big of a place you work in, but he's just got a job at a network, or not a call center. That's just massive, tons and tons of people. And he was telling me about how it was just toxic working there because there's so many toxic people. And this call center stabbing each other in the back, trying to get ahead of everyone. And it really came down to just talking to him and us deciding basically just surround yourself with the good people, and find out who those people are, and then you guys can start being that change in that environment that you want to see. Maybe that doesn't work for you because you have 10 people at your work and they're all toxic. That would suck, but there's likely at least one person for you to attach onto. And like you said, you're in the position right now where you're learning from everyone, which is awesome. If you have that opportunity at work, take that for sure.
Ultimately, I'm not saying don't do good things for people, don't help people out, don't not be that person when people call and need your help, go help them. I'm not saying that at all. I'm even with the expectations thing, as we were talking about earlier, do stuff for people with no expectation of any return whatsoever. Don't worry about it. Don't keep score, which is huge, because if you keep score, it's going to eat you alive. What I'm saying is actively pursue relationships that'll help you grow.
Yeah.
And there might be people out there that are super freaking wealthy that are toxic people as well. You know what I mean? Maybe you go you try to friend somebody, and then you get around them, and you're like, oh, this guy's awesome, and then all of a sudden you see the dark side. And you're like, holy shit, this is probably not a good place for me. You'll be smart about it. But what I am ultimately saying is, just because somebody is, oh yeah, dude, I'll come over and hang out with you, help you fix your car or whatever, and we'll drink a beer. Well, I'm not supposed to drink or whatever. Oh, that's so cool. Okay, well, I'll just come over and I'll drink beer or whatever. And then the whole entire time trying to convince you to fucking drink. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And it's like, well, and then finally, you think of that as a person, as a friend. That's not a friend.
Yeah.
That's not a friend. That's a cancer. It's just disguised as a friend. And then one of the things that's really cool is, I think over the last several months, well, this year as well, and even previous years, I've had one out of all the people that I've actively tried to involve myself with and help this year. Everything's coming back. Everything's like I'm not looking for a return or anything like that, but it's just like little like text messages. Hey, thank you. You know what I mean? So on and so forth. That shit, it's huge. He was like, oh man, that's awesome. That like you would even feel that way about my involvement with you. And occasionally you're going to get kicked in the teeth. Who cares? One person blaming me, like trying to make it seem like I did something scandalous, and I focus so hard on not ever even having a perception of being scandalous in no matter what I do, business, life, every single piece of it. Yet all of a sudden I'm scandalous. That's the reason that you fell apart. It doesn't make sense to me. But then at the same time, when you get those situations, other situations pop up and like, damn, dude, that like you really made an impact. I'm like, dude, this is awesome. I love that. And I'm not saying here that I'm any better than anybody else or anything like that. I'm saying that we all have to actively help each other. We all have to actively build each other. Just be very conscious of who you surround yourself with. Understand what the difference is between somebody that's good for you and somebody that's not good for you. And what's the outcome that you want? I mean, I guess if you're satisfied with always letting yourself down, and you're satisfied with always failing yourself, always failing your family, then be around people like that. That's awesome. If you have higher standards for yourself and you want to break out of this cage life that you have and go to the next level that you've never been to before, surround your people that are on that other side. Mm-hmm. So people will help you understand how easy it is to do things because they've already done them, and now you have a frame of reference. It's just like the whole analogy of moving out, when you're 18 years old, getting a job, getting your down payment, moving into an apartment. If you didn't have other people around you as a frame of reference that this is easy and it's totally possible, you would think about it completely different. And
it's crazy because I kind of can judge people really quickly on what type of person and what type of relationship I could have with that person through the mechanism, because our first one obviously was the no drinking, and it's crazy like when I explain to someone I'm not drinking for a year, I can almost immediately tell like what type of person or what type of relationship they're going to be by their response of either, oh, that's gay, or that's terrible, or why would you do that to yourself, to like someone who's like, oh, that's really interesting, how are you doing this, like how are you accomplishing that would be really hard, how are you doing? And I know like right away those are the two different people.
It's interesting.
I never
just thought
about
of
one
that.
topic,
I never even thought about it like that. That's crazy.
Just their response to that is like, I'm like, okay, this person I'm going to continue talking to. This person, it's like,
I called this guy, and so in my book I talk about my experiences with marijuana, and I honestly think if you smoke weed and you get high, it makes you stupid. I couldn't walk onto half the freaking job or buy appointments that I do. I couldn't do half the stuff that I do if I was stoned. Mm-hmm. That being said, obviously there's other benefits to like CBD oil and all this. I've never had any experience with it. It's fine. What I'm talking about in the book is I'm talking about getting high specifically, not necessarily effects or benefits of marijuana. Anyways,
sure.
Because the reason I bring this up is because I went on one buy appointment yesterday morning, and this guy's telling me that he used to drink like a fifth of Crown, like in 3 drinks or whatever, like made himself literally 3 drinks and drink the whole thing. And because he had a lot of pain, because he has rheumatoid arthritis and some other issues that he was telling me about. And he said now that he does like a marijuana vape pen or whatever, mm-hmm. his body pain's gone. And I was like, wow, that's really interesting. And then we had a good conversation. I left. I'll probably do a deal with him. I called this other guy that came back on one of my campaigns, mm-hmm. saying that he had a house he wanted or some properties he wanted to sell. So I started talking to him. Ultimately, he wasn't wanting to sell a property, but he was interested in how I was campaigning to him because he thinks that he could use it for his CBD business that he just started. And he starts explaining this stuff to me. And he's saying sports people, this and that, and this and that. And I explained my shoulder to him. He's like, I'm probably going to meet up with him tomorrow, get some from him just to see what it does for my shoulder because I don't want to go get the shot.
Yeah.
Because I like to have the pain there because if I'm in the gym pushing myself really hard, I need to feel if I take that step too far mm-hmm. with my shoulder so that way it can still stay in check. Anyways, the whole thing was, where was I at with this? The whole thing was is I started explaining to this guy that owns a CBD company, LifeBalm, BALM.com. Mm-hmm. There's your plug, Connor. I started explaining to him what I was, and it just comes right off that topic that you were saying. I was explaining to him what I've done this year because of the mechanisms that I have in place, and he was just astounded. Like yeah. He's like, "Holy shit! This and that, this and that," and that's the kind of people that you not necessarily surround yourself from as an influential standpoint, but just be careful of the people that you get around you. I still am willing to help people that likely have a cancerous element to me for my life. I just keep the separation a little bigger, you know. And everybody has different perspectives on this. There's a lot of people out there that'll just help everybody at their own peril, and that's fine. You know, it's to me, my legacy is more important than yours. Period. There's a saying. I went through this All Stars conference in Vegas this last weekend, and one of the things that people kept saying was, if you're not full, you can't pour anything out. Mm-hmm. So focus on yourself, build yourself, make yourself strong, make yourself powerful. And the way you do that is surround yourself around other people that are full of information, full of influence. Like I said, they might have great business insight for you, but they're a raging alcoholic and you don't want to be. You know, they just go to a strip club every single night. Maybe just pull that out of. Unless you're in, I don't know. I think it's a bad behavior, but I'm not judging. What are your guidelines for your life? What do you want to accomplish? Do you want to lose 80 pounds? So if you do, are you going to continuously hang out with people that ask you, why aren't you eating? Or why are you eating that? Why don't you eat this? You know, are you going to surround yourself with people that negatively impact what your personal goals are? Take your goals away from you? Ultimately, it's about making yourself proud. I remember that one podcast, make yourself proud of yourself. Like what? It's like, allow myself to introduce myself. I said that on one of those podcasts. I'm like, oh, every time I hear it. Anyways, just think about who it is that you're surrounding yourself with. Is it the right person for you? Do you need to purge? Actually, I mean, I don't necessarily think you need to tell people to go fuck off and stay the fuck out of my life. I mean, maybe there's some people like that, and maybe just wean the relationship off. Start actively pursuing people that are at the level that you want to get to or beyond.
Absolutely.
I had a fortunate situation where this last weekend I have numbers of like 10 different millionaires right now. And I'm going to start reaching out to everybody this week. I didn't want to bug everybody their first week back. I try not to be a pain to anybody, especially if I don't have a whole lot of value to bring them yet. And that's another thing too, is sometimes you think that you can't bring value. But think about how you can bring value. Even in the real estate stuff, I've learned a lot of things from people and still brought them deals, and they've made thousands of dollars from me. Just the relationship helping me out. Is it going to go forever? Maybe not necessarily. But the thing about it is don't discount your value. You have value. Actively pursue somebody that is where you want to be. It's scary. I know it. I get it. But just do it. It's one foot in front of the other. This guy, Orlo, what's his last name? I forget Orlo's last name. Anyways, sorry. He said, he had a saying that said, do later now.
Yeah, that's how you post that.
I like that. So it's stop waiting. Don't wait for anything. Just do it. Mm-hmm. Do later now.
Very interesting. I think it's just as important as evaluating those friendships of people that are being toxic, to evaluate yourself as well. Are you being toxic to people? Are you the one encouraging people to drink? Are you the one? Because if you are that person to other people, either they're cutting you out of their lives or they're accepting you, like, you don't want to be that person. And I think that's kind of where we were at the beginning of the year with the no drinking. It's just like, it's over. Like,
yeah, one of the things, we need to bring Derek back on here.
Yeah.
Like, Derek was probably the one in the worst shape out of all of us. And now he's telling me that he's after a superintendent position this year, which is huge. Because as a superintendent, there's typically only like one or two in an entire company. If you can have if you could be that person, that's huge. If you can get that opportunity, that's huge. Because once somebody's locked in as a superintendent, there's no becoming a superintendent unless they're freaking gone out of the way. So that'll be awesome. Like, he went from drinking a 12-pack a day and 6 whiskey shooters every single day, and then showing up at work at 5 a.m. the following morning. Yeah. To, I don't even know how many cheats he's used. I think he's used 2 cheats this year. I haven't asked him about that. But that's phenomenal, And
I wasn't saying like any one of us particular in the no drink thing was like toxic, but we were all being toxic to each other. It was like, hey, the fights are on, let's all go drink.
Right.
Where now we're all super like flipped to where, how can we make you successful? How can we make Derek successful? How can we make me successful? It's just a different priority list now.
And we still have the fights over here.
Oh yeah, and just don't drink.
Yeah, most people don't drink. There's a couple people that'll come and drink, but they're not in the 1 year club.
Yeah.
It's not even a big deal. I like hanging out with my wife and just drinking a shit ton of iced tea while she pounds like 4 fruity drinks. Typically works out really well for me when I get home with her.
Typically.
Yeah. We got to get the formula like perfect. Just if she drinks too much, she just passes out. If she drinks just the right amount, it can be really fun.
That's good.
Too much information, right? Yeah. Cool, man. I think we're good.
I think so. we probably definitely will be having Derek on here very soon. If any of you know who he is, he's got a good story, so we will have him on soon, very soon.
Have a nice day, guys.